Okay, let's call Nick.
Hello.
Hey, Nick, how are you?
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm live, and chat is like, give Nick a call or you're gay. And I'm no homosexual, so I called.
A little bit.
Nick, the first question they have is, who is the gayest of the right wing? Is it Charlie?
Honestly, he's not that bad anymore.
What?
I mean,
Didn't you guys like traumatize him when you guys like lined up?
Yeah, back in 2019, we gave him a lot of trouble, but so we kind of pressured him to go more right wing. I would say, like, I don't know, it's probably Shapiro now or Prager or one of them.
Now, that was your top viewer count on YouTube. You were like peaking at how much?
What's up?
What was the viewer count when you were doing that to Charlie Kirk?
I think I peaked at like 14,000 live viewers.
And then you got banned that same week?
I got banned. Well, I started getting strikes like a week later, and they banned me on Valentine's Day in 2020.
Do you remember what it was for?
Yeah, they said it was for hate speech.
Oh, like something vague, right?
Yes, they didn't even tell me like anything specifically. They just said their policy on hateful content or something like that.
No, I went to the party. Destiny threw a party when you got banned on YouTube because like he can finally stop getting humiliated by you in every single fucking debate. But like you've done a good job destroying him in every debate. But is it true you backed down from a 9/11 debate with Steve?
No, that's fake. I mean, he just lies about that openly. I mean, if you go back, so that was back in, I want to say, August last year, and it was me, him, and Sneeko were on a stream, the three of us. I think that was on like a Thursday or a Friday, and so I brought up the JFK conspiracy, and he said, well, let's debate it. Let's schedule a debate right now. And I said, really? I said, okay, let's do it on, I think I said, let's do it on Wednesday. And he goes, okay. And then Nico said, well, and I want to debate about 9/11. He goes, okay, well, we'll do that one on Monday. So it's supposed to be Sneeko debating him on 9/11 on that Monday or whatever it was, and I was debating Steve on JFK on that Wednesday. And so I fly out to Miami for my birthday that weekend, and me and Destiny are hanging out, and he's like, well, we're doing our 9/11 debate today. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to do a 9/11 debate. I thought we were just going to hang out and get dinner. I said, we have a JFK debate on Wednesday. And he's like, oh, you're backing down? I'm like, no, dude, you're doing, yeah. And then, well, so get this. So then I fly back to Chicago.
Wait, did he sprint to, you're backing down, like he ran to it, as in I can finally tell my chat he backed down, like he was like, it was like prepared?
Yeah, and I could go back, I mean, I could literally pull the clip fucking today. Like, I remember, because I'm autistic, like, about this kind of stuff. I remember all the dates, and I remember all that shit. I mean, we literally, because when we were on that stream initially, and I brought up the JFK stuff, he was like, we got to debate that immediately. Let's schedule it. I was like, okay, let's do it. And then I show up at his house, and he's like, how about our 9/11 debate? I'm like, bro, we literally are just here to get dinner. I'm like, your 9/11 debate is with Sneeko tomorrow. And he's like, oh, so you're backing down. I'm like, bitch, I'm not backing down. I'm here to get dinner. I said, we have a JFK debate on Wednesday. So then I fly home to Chicago, and this debate is supposed to take place. I don't hear from him. Like, we were supposed to do it on a particular day, but we didn't work out the details. And I hit him up, and I'm like, hey, we still doing the debate? Hey, we still doing the debate? Hey, I hit him up like 3 times, and finally he replies, and he's like, oh, maybe, I don't know. I'm like, dude, seriously? I'm like, I mean, are we doing it or not? He goes, I'll let you know.
Now, Nick,
and then he never hits me back.
But hold on, did he start the hit piece where he's like, hey, chat, like he said it under his breath, like, Nick, back down, so what can you do? Did he do that?
I don't. In what?
Like, did he tell his chat you back down? He's the one who said that?
Yeah, he did. He's been saying that for a year.
Oh.
And it's just not even fucking true. And by the way, anybody who is following that closely, even people on his own subreddit were saying, like, actually, Steve is wrong. Like, the 9/11 debate was with Nico, the JFK debate was with Nick. And he fucking backed out of the JFK debate.
Yeah, I mean, that seems like the best topic for you two. Like, that would be great. Why not do it now?
I'm down to do it now, but he doesn't want to.
Wait, what's the nature of the last conversation you had with Steve? Was it like, fuck you, and was it like bad blood?
The last time we talked, somebody on Cozy, which is a platform I run, reported Mr. Girl, and Mr. Girl got a strike on his YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And then so Destiny blames me for that. He's like, oh, someone on Nick's platform reported Mr. Girl, and so now I will never talk to Nick ever again. That was the last time we talked.
Okay. What was that? How many months ago was that?
That was, I want to say, September or October.
Isn't Mr. Girl a pedo?
Yeah, he's a Jewish pedo.
Easy now. Lower your power level, dude.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I like airplanes, Nick. I'm like Muhammad Atta in this. All right, so Nick, I'm wondering, why haven't you made a Kick account?
Well, I don't know if they're going to let me on there. I mean, I would, but...
they said you're not allowed here?
Well, they didn't say that, but somebody asked Trainwreck. Somebody did a super chat during his stream, and they said, hey, will Nick Fuentes be on there? And he goes, oh, no comment. Don't address that.
Oh. So, but would you do another, like, what about Rumble? Rumble wouldn't take you, right?
I'm on Rumble. So my main platform is Cozy. That's my platform. But I go live on Rumble every night as well, simultaneously.
Did Jared Taylor get the bans as hard as you? Like, is he as banned as you?
He's close. I mean, he's right up there because I know he's banned on Twitter, YouTube. I'm sure he's banned from all the typical payment processors. Yeah. So he's up there, yeah.
And I mean, I remember seeing you a few years ago after the Scuff podcast debate. You were right. Richard Spencer's gay and a liberal. Hey, you blew my mind, bro. How the fuck did you see that? He's like trying to infiltrate the Democrat Party now. What the fuck happened with that dude?
Well, he was always, he always was a liberal, and I was trying to point that out from the beginning.
Because the abortion thing, that's where we should have known. He's like a Nietzsche abortion guy. And he hated Christ. Like, how did the right even go into that?
Well, because he was, he was very into white identity and fascism and that sort of thing. But he was always the feminist. He was always pro-gay. He literally fought for, like, gay people in his conference. There was, like, a lot of people agitated in 2017, I think. He had a group called NPI, National Policy Institute.
I remember.
And anyway, people were like, oh, we don't want gay people at NPI. And he was like, no, we are going to have gay people at NPI. We're going to let gay people in, like Greg Johnson, who's a big nationalist these days.
I'm not surprised because I'm not surprised because he said, oh, we need pagans in our movement. We need pagans. I'm like, what the fuck? You remember that?
Yeah.
He would want like this atheist pagan, right? And his strategy was to like import from Europe white dudes, which would pretty much be like all Democrats, right?
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, but yeah, I mean, he loves the European Union. He loves NATO, and he wants he loves this Washington, London axis, this like globalist thing. He wants like Europe and North America to be united in like a liberal, like some kind of liberal union or something. Like like how the European Union exists between the member states of Europe. He wants all the white countries to be a supranational thing. And I've always said since the beginning that that's not really conservative at all. Like, that's not, I mean, it is right-wing in one sense, but it's not traditional, it's not Christian, it's not nationalist. It's always been this, he's big by Francis Parker Yockey. I think that's the biggest influence. Francis Parker Yockey was a intellectual in America. He started like a successor to the Nazi Party in America. He wrote a book called Imperium, which people consider an unofficial sequel to Decline of the West by Spengler. And he was in favor of like a fascist white empire or something like that. And so it's like a very niche ideology. And for whatever reason, Richard Spencer wound up leading the alt-right. And so that was like the dominant ideology, even though there was a lot of diversity of thought within the alt-right. There were like traditional Catholics, and there were, you know, more regular type conservatives, race realists, immigration restrictionists. And then he kind of came in with this very specific kind of idea, and for whatever reason became the leader. That was a little before my time, and I was just like 18 at that point. And but now I'm like the leader of the dissonant right, and it's a very different flavor. You know, it's Catholic. It's you know, a little bit more. We talk a little bit more about the thing I mentioned earlier. I don't want to get you banned here, but like we talk a little bit more about those people than we talk about some of the stuff that he talks about. So
that's the conversation you had with Kanye, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah, like that.
Are you still on the Ye campaign?
Yeah, so I'm an advisor to the campaign. But I mean, honestly, it's a big, and I told this to Ye, like, having Milo around is such a big problem, you know? So, I mean, and that's the thing, I mean, I'm giving kind of like my first public comment about this, but we were sort of rotated around to accommodate Milo because Milo hates me and has this big axe to grind with me. And I certainly have no affinity for Milo. And so when Milo came back to L.A., I was kind of rotated into a different role to accommodate him. And Milo's like, you know, you need to fire him. You need to disavow him. And like, you know, Ye refuses to do that. So now we're sort of at odds within the camp. But, you know, to me, I look at it and I'm like, well, I don't know. I shouldn't say too much at this point. I mean, if I depart soon or anything like that, I'll give a fuller public comment. But I'll just say that there's a little tension in the group at this point.
Right, but would you be like in the same office setting as him? Like you see him every day and stuff?
No, I'm in Chicago right now.
Oh, you guys are all split up. You're not like in one HQ?
No, I've been in Chicago since like March.
I thought you guys had that. You had that one building where everyone would take pictures of you sneak on them, right? What was that building?
So they had an office back in. That is Yeezy. Yeezy and Ye had an office in Crenshaw, in LA, back in November and December. They no longer have that office, and so basically from December to roughly a couple months ago, they were running things out of hotel rooms. You know, because we had this big office. We sort of stopped going there around December, and then we were just kind of at, you know, Ye was living in hotels, and we were working out of there. I went back to Chicago around March, and I haven't been back. That's because there just wasn't a lot of political activity going on. He was kind of focusing on other stuff.
Okay. Why do you think that the right wing, like Stephen Coward and all those guys, why are all these white men always in like tutu dresses and doing homosexual comedy?
I don't know. I don't get it. Like, it seems like that's specifically a Crowder thing. I mean, Alex Stein does it a little bit as well. I mean, I just never thought that was funny. Like the cross-dressing thing, I never found that appealing in any way. They think it's the funniest thing in the world to like dress up like a woman. And, I mean, in some sense, I guess if you're Crowder, he's been doing a comedy show for like 10 years. Maybe you do that once. But it's like he does it all the time. It's like, okay, what's going on here? Like, this is the 10th sketch this week where you wear a dress, Steven. What's going on? What's the big idea here? So I don't find them to be funny. I don't think any of their shit is funny. Like, I think my show is funny. I look at Crowder, I look at these other guys, and it's like, but you know what it is? They got training wheels on. They got to do this. I mean, their idea of comedy is like Biden farted. You see that one, Biden farts, like that. They think that's the funniest thing in the world. They laugh and laugh, or then they do the pronoun shit where they're like, my pronouns are USA. It's like, fuck you. Like that's not funny. But so I'm over all that.
I always wonder with these like big right-wing channels. I'm like, if they're conservatives, what the fuck are they conserving? Dresses, fucking free trade. They talk about tax. Like, what the fuck? They're not actually conserving a traditional America. And there is no traditional America without the symbol of the fucking cross. All of our problems started after the 1960s sexual revolution, where they inverted the cross upside down and broke it, and they said it's the peace sign. And these hippies are doing fucking crack, smack, glass, and telling us they're free. Literally crackheads on street telling us this sexual revolution is, we're finally free and stuff like that. And I'm thinking like, Crowder is not battling any of that. Like 0% of that. Like that kind of like liberal gay ass world. He hasn't done anything to that.
Yeah, they're all, I mean, the dirty secret about conservatives is that they are actually all liberals. And I've been in the conservative world for like 6 or 7 years now. 25% of Republican Capitol Hill staffers are homosexual. And like there was a clip even the other night after Tucker Carlson got fired. Media Matters released all those videos of him where he was caught on a hot mic. And in one of the videos, he says that there's a girl who's working on his hair, and he goes, well, I'm actually a liberal. All these liberals are attacking me. I'm actually a liberal.
What?
And a lot of people would hear that and go, oh, well, he means like classical liberal or something like that.
That's still gay. That Sargon Akkad position of classical liberal is still gay.
Yeah, exactly. It's still liberalism. And so, like Crowder, Tucker, and Tucker, I don't hate the guy totally, but all these guys they're not actually right-wing. I'm actually an extreme right-wing guy. Like, I think that men and women should get married as like teenagers, and the women should be in the house, and the guys should work, and I believe everyone should be a traditional Catholic. Like, that's actually what it means to be right-wing. These guys, their liberalism driving the speed limit. They want to go back to the 2000s. They want to go back to the 1990s. They're like, well, you can be trans, but you just have to wait until you're 18 to be trans. Or, you could get gay married, but I just don't necessarily want to bake your cake. It's like, no, actually, it's not conservative to support any of that. But they just want to draw lines around it. They want to circumscribe it within a reasonable limit and say, we could do women can work, and women could be on birth control, and gays and trans they can run all over the country, just as long as we do it in a reasonable way. And that's fucking liberalism. So we don't even have a right wing in this country. We don't have an organized opposition or an organized right wing. We just have two left wings. We have the left wing, and then we have like the left wing.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what's going on.
Yeah, the way I word it is like you've got the broke left and the corporate left. That's the way I see it. But in my head, I'm thinking like the trajectory in 40 years, without like no hyperbole or any of that. What do you see? Is it going to be like remember Jared Taylor in 2016 said U.S. will be like Brazil, that diverse, right? That kind, all sorts of, right? Do you think that's possible in 40 years that U.S. would look just like Brazil, like ethnically? Like the people
in a lot of
would
ways, it already does. I mean, all you have to do is look at the major cities. It's just a little preview. It's a little snapshot preview. L.A. is is minority white. I think Los Angeles is like a quarter or less white, and LA is a shithole. I mean, I worked there for like 6 months, and the homeless is out of control. The crime is out of control. People get their windows smashed. San Francisco, same story. That Cash App guy got stabbed to death. There was some study in San Francisco, and it said something outrageous, like there was 1,500 crimes per square mile in a year. Because they'll look at like per capita, or they'll look at like crime overall. But when you look at crime, you're
not Nick. I gotta interrupt. You're not looking at the content of their character, okay?
Yeah. Right. I mean, they were getting their life back. He was an honor roll student. He was getting his life back on track. He didn't do anything wrong. Well, I mean, when you look at it in terms of the density of the crime, it's crazy. Chicago, same thing. Chicago's like a dump. And they just elected this new mayor. And I don't know how much of this you saw, but there were riots in the middle of the city in Millennium Park. There were like 300 kids out there shooting guns. Like a 15-year-old got shot. They're mugging people. They're jumping on cop cars.
And what's the problem with that? Diversity is our greatest strength. We're a melting pot, Nick.
Yeah, that's spicy. You know what? White man can't handle a little spice.
You know, I find it
spicy flavor.
Like when you look at the history of like multiracial nations and these kind of borders, dude, which one was successful? Like ever?
None. I mean,
is it zero? Really?
Work.
What would Destiny's like blue answer be?
Well, the blue answer would be, I mean, he always comes at it with this, like, you know, they always try to obfuscate what diversity is. Because we'll say something like, hey, we don't want America to be Brazil. We don't want America to be Zimbabwe. And he'll say something like, yeah, but white people in the South have a different culture than white people in New York. And it's like, yeah, but they still have more in common with each other than they do with someone from Sudan. Yeah. Or Tanzania, you know, so like that, because I've heard Destiny say that shit for years. He goes, well, America doesn't have any harmony or any unity already, you know, like there's already so much difference, it doesn't matter, you know, or they come in and they obfuscate with data, and they'll say, well, I went to imright.com, and according to my study, it says that immigration is actually awesome. And it's like, really? So then, you know, why do you live in Brickell or wherever it is, and why don't you live in, like, Little Haiti? You know, why don't you live in the bad neighborhood if the statistics support what you're saying? So at the end of the day, they just try to obfuscate what is plain to see and common sense and, you know, what we all see on the news every day or in the streets all the time.
I mean, I think you'd lose your mind trying to rationalize the gay liberal psyche. Like, these guys don't care that Hunter Biden is like chilling with underage hookers doing crack, smack, glass. Like they're clearly, like, I want to say Satanists, but they're actually out of their mind, right? I think I would trust a crazy person over a fucking hyper left kind of human.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean,
I've asked so many leftists on my podcast. I was like the most banned for this kind of stuff on Twitch. They'd get my ass for anything. And I'd always ask leftists, would you leave your kid alone with a babysitter he's an ex-pedophile? And they said, yes, if he's an ex-pedophile, like, we'll give him a chance. Like, every single one of them with a straight face, whether they had a master's degree, it didn't matter the education level, they all said yes. And I'm thinking to myself, like, wow, like, why are we spending years reasoning with these people? Like, debating them should be just for fun. You know what I mean?
I absolutely agree with you. And that, I mean, a lot of people critique me because they say, well, you never attack the left. You only attack people on the right. And it's like, yeah, because I'm not going to go to the 1 millionth debate where we're basically entertaining that. When we go and sit at the table and it's like, is gender real? It's like any person that is worth talking to is going to agree with us on that.
Yeah.
You know, so
all I
it
see,
is an absolute waste of time.
I've never, it's so weird. Every right-wing channel I see, they start as a sword and they start to dull fast. Like Andrew Tate was doing great. And recently he tweeted I would love to if the best thing in the world. I think he said the best thing in the world is having a wife that loves you, so you can spend all your money on her. And I'm like, this got to be the gayest tweet of all time. Why? What is it with our side always wanting to win over some dumb, fat, liberal white women from fucking Washington Post or whatever the fuck? Some news agency will hurt the feelings of these influencers, say something like, you're a sexist, and they'll be like, actually, I love women. Isn't the right-wing position, when you're called a sexist, the right-wing position, the only position we should have is, yes, I am. Because we're entertaining the lunacy that they can just make they can make anyone a sexist, and Andrew Tate and everyone, Crowder, they'll go play in this fucking gay portal. So it's so weird to me. Actually, I'm not a sexist because I love women. I think, women have a role, and why not call a spade a spade? If you're right-wing, men are better than women in every single way. Just say it how it is. And that's like my litmus. That's my litmus test to see who's real and who's not. Because I'm like, you guys are not taking us to like a theocratic society. You're taking us to more of Steven Crowder's world, which is like really just 1990s America. Like, was it that great? No. It's not. What are you trying to do?
Well, they're all simps. They want a gynocratic society. Like, all these right-wing guys worship women, and they even, like, define their masculinity in terms of women. Like, I've heard some of these guys, they say stuff like, real masculinity is putting a village to the sword for your wife. Like, real masculinity is being your wife's knight in shining armor. It's like, why don't you read what Aristotle said about women? Why don't you read, like, what any man before the 19th century, even the 20th century for that matter, said about women? And it's like you say, now they didn't hate women necessarily, but everyone recognized that the man has primacy between men and women, that women are obviously the weaker sex. Now, I don't know if I would say inferior. That's pretty strong language, but
why not?
If you're a Christian.
Wait.
Man was created in the image of God.
Oh, hold on. But if you're hiring someone for your business, Nick, you're not going to hire a woman.
No, fuck no.
So you're saying inferior?
Inferior in that respect, yes.
Okay, but yeah, I guess you're saying you don't want to take away from the soul, right?
Well, right, exactly. Because I don't think, because we're both created beings, but there is a divinely ordained hierarchy. It's the man, and then it's the woman, and then it's children. And that's why it says in the Bible that women can't teach men.
Wait, hold on.
Is
it in the Bible, doesn't the firstborn son come before your wife?
Yeah, I mean, when he's an adult, of course.
Ah, so you got that wrong, Nick.
Well, when he's an adult. I'm talking about children like little children.
Okay. And
like babies or toddlers.
I didn't know you get shit for attacking the right more than the left, because, like, honestly, if you spend your time attacking the left, that's like going to fight retards. It'd make you look stupid.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of these people out there that they push for so-called unity. They're like, we all need to be on the same team and everything, and that's just so rich because I got completely ostracized from the right wing. Like, I am refused from participating because I'm actually fucking right wing. Like, I get kicked out of CPAC. The Republican Party writes a resolution condemning me. I get banned from everything.
Nick, if you had a time machine and did it over again, you'd get banned the same way. The one thing that I learned from working security in nightclubs for 5 years is if you're smarter than people, let's say you're good at debating, you destroy everyone, right? You don't want to win too hard. If you humiliate the fuck out of them, they start all teaming up against you. If they know you're the humiliation ritual that they have to go through, they have to debate Nick, you're supposed to win more. Like, you were winning so hard that it wasn't even what you're saying. It was like you were affecting so many people's bottom lines. Every dollar they made, you were having people's business after one call. I mean, if you could go back in time, all you'd have to do is pull back and win a little, like, more gently, because I think you're charismatic enough to have that big following, right? If Crowder can have it, I think you would have had it, right?
Well, I don't know. I mean, if you look at my origin story, the fix was in from the beginning. I mean, I basically...
it was some fucking hoe connected to Shapiro.
Yeah, and, right out of the gate, I mean, literally before I even had a chance to collect my bearings, she tried to cancel me with Media Matters. I mean, literally teamed up with Media Matters to write the first hit piece about me in April 2017. And then it was off to the races from there. Then I went and got a job training at Leadership Institute, and I'm literally hanging out with a bunch of people, and some woman records me saying some choice things, and they try to cancel me again. Like that was 4 months after the Media Matters article. Then I went to Charlottesville, and
so it was
then that was it.
What was your viewer count back then when you were around those people? Like, were you small?
Oh yeah, I probably had like 200 viewers at the time.
Oh, and you met Ben Shapiro in person back then?
No, I never met him.
Oh, okay. But no, you ran into him outside of a hotel where he was like, you said he was having adrenochrome.
I didn't say adrenochrome. I called him out because he gave a speech about me at Stanford the week before. He rewrote his speech and basically attacked me and my followers.
And he bought a plastic, he had a plastic baby child to avoid the debate with you?
Well, he had a real baby, but so they're putting the baby in the stroller. And then they saw me across the street, and Ben Shapiro picked the baby up out of the stroller so that it would make me look like the asshole.
But I'm pretty sure I don't think that's true, Nick. You ran into Ben much earlier than that in GTA. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But
that happened months before.
Did he ever reach out and say, "Hey, man," like, did he ever message you or contact you through someone else?
No, that's not how these people operate. He was trying to cancel me since December 2016.
Really?
Yeah.
So right after Charlottesville, right?
No, way before. Charlottesville is August 17.
Oh, right.
So I got to Boston University in like September 2016. I did this debate with the student body president in November. That's where I met Cassie Dillon. And she texts Ben Shapiro and she's like, "You got to check this guy out. He's amazing. You got to take him under your wing." And he was like, "Okay, I'll check him out." And then I'm sure he did. And then in December, he starts tweeting at me and calling me an anti-Semite. Like, I put out a tweet and I said something like, if you're Mexico first, you should go to Mexico. If you're China first, you should go to China. If you're Israel first, you should go to Israel. And he quote tweeted me and says, "If you accuse Jewish people of dual loyalty, you're an anti-Semite." And I had like 2,000 followers on Twitter at that time.
Oh, wow. You should have said, "I'm not accusing anyone of dual loyalty, but we should check if they have a dual citizenship."
Yeah, I'm sure I said
You got to word it better, Nick, because it was interesting. I've seen you be political, and sometimes you just say, "Fuck it." I've seen, like, with the Gideon and stuff, you actually let go of that politically, like, I guess, data-driven debate style, and you just started saying "fuck it" and talking how you want. You were on Adam 22, and did that work better for you? That was probably way better for you, right? Like, you grew a lot more doing that?
Oh, what do you mean?
Like, you used to be more, like, nerdy in your debates, and then you became more, like, comedic. Like, you became a lot funnier over time.
Yeah, I would say so. Because initially I was trying to, I think a lot of conservatives do this. They're trying to appear, like, objective to the left, so they're, like, really use very neutral language, and they're sort of deferential. And at a certain point, I was like, you know what, fuck it. Like, I'm not trying to convince the left. I'm trying to win over the sane people. I'm trying to win over normal people. So I was just like, I'm just gonna be me.
I still remember when my manager first showed me you. Twitch banned me for the MAGA thing, and then they had you on for a day, and then they banned you. And I click on you and stuff, and I said to my manager, I'm like, "This kid will never make it." And he's like, "How can you say that?" I'm like, "But this is before the Groypers had a different nickname." I'm like, "Look at his fucking community name." And I can't believe, like, So how many views did you have on the Scuff podcast with Hassan Piker when you beat him? Were you a big streamer back then?
Yeah, there were like 24,000 live viewers watching that.
No, but when you were before you got on the stream, how many did you stream to back then?
Oh, I still wasn't big. I think I only had like 700, 800 live viewers at that time.
And then the Twitch ban, did it boost you?
Yeah, well, it was more so the Trainwrecks debate. The Trainwrecks debate, after that, I cleared 1,000, and then I just blew up that was in April 2019. And then so for that, the latter half of that year, I just blew up. And like I said, Groyper War was the Charlie Kirk thing. That happened in like November 2019. And I topped out at like 13,000. And then I got banned like the next month. So.
Okay. And then you were in D Live.
Yes.
Okay. Why do you think so many of these like Red Pill, TradCon, Fusion, they're like hybrids now? Why are they all going to Islam? Why? And I have a theory about this is because they're so afraid of liberals that they want that kind of ethnic shield. Like, oh, I'm a Muslim. We have Sneeko, Andrew Tate, everyone ditching the church and going to become a Muslim, but they don't know one verse of the fucking Quran. What the fuck? Like, what do you think is happening with all these guys? Because I know Sneeko grew up as a Catholic.
Well, I mean, they all say that Christianity is weak, and I mean, what they're really doing is they're really instrumentalizing religion for their own politics. You know, because when you hear these people talk about Islam, they don't say like, "Oh, I had a religious experience," or "I believe Islam is the true faith." They say shit like, "Well, Christianity's too feminine, and Islam's gonna like let me marry multiple wives." So, like, you don't even really believe in it. You're just sort of using that as
some red pill dating strategy.
Yeah, and so it's a very shallow commitment to their religion. And the thing is, I mean, by the same token, I sort of get it. Like, Christianity, Protestant Christianity, is totally liberal. Like,
yeah, it's gay. It's gay
by definition. Yeah, go ahead.
I think the whole Protestant movement is just like an attack on the Catholic Church. And then, I mean, like, Nick, I've never heard you critique the Jesuit order in the Catholic Church, right?
I've critiqued it on my show before.
Oh, really? Okay, so oh, wow, okay. What have you said?
Well, obviously, they're very liberal, and Pope Francis is a Jesuit, of course, and
they take an oath, but not to Christ. They have their own thing.
Well, I still think they're Catholic. I just don't think they're politically aligned.
You don't believe they're Satanists in the Jesuit order?
No, not really.
Oh, okay. All right, that'll be our first disagreement. What about, Chad, you got any questions? What happened recently? So you are with Kanye, right? You said you're with Kanye. What's the first big thing you guys are going to do?
Well, I can't really talk too much about that. He doesn't really want us to make any announcements until it's official.
I know. I thought I'd trip you up. Okay.
Nice try.
Nick, do you believe that Republicans and Democrats, they all worshiping this giant Moloch owl and they're all doing the same rituals, all of them? Or would you say like it's mostly Democrats going to Epstein Island and some gay Republicans?
No, Republicans are totally part of it.
Yeah, I'd say both. I'd say both, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so you believe in, like, I guess, a third party?
Not really a third party. More like we just need to take over the Republican Party. Like, we need, like, Trump is the model. It's just that Trump was incompetent in a lot of ways. So
yeah, I remember seeing that stream where you were like totally. Trump gave it was his first day back, and you were totally like disappointed, and you're like, "What is this? This isn't 2016 energy."
Yeah, well, so he brought in a lot of these people like Rick Grinnell and Jason Miller. And it's all these, it's really just these Republican hacks that are now running his campaign. Because back in, here's why I say 2016. back in 2016, the Trump campaign, I should actually say more accurately in 2015, he announced in, I think, June or July 15. And back then it was just him and like 4 paid employees. Like, that was the Trump campaign. It was him picking which cities to fly to and give a rally, and like 4 guys. And that allowed him to be himself. And he is extremely based. What happened over the course of 16 and 17 is that basically the RNC, the Republican Party, took over his camp. And they were the ones that staffed the White House, and they were the ones that staffed the campaign. And here we are 4 years later, or however long it's been, 7, 8 years. And now we have this Trump movement, which has been totally and thoroughly infiltrated by people that like resent him personally and also don't even agree with his politics. And so he has this campaign speech, and when he announced back in November, and he's going on and on about like inflation and gas prices and the radical left. And it's like, bro, what about immigration? What about trade? What about industry? What about the wars? What about the things that he actually ran on 8 years ago? So I thought it was totally watered down and kind of sucked. And, he needs to kind of get it together. Otherwise, it's going to repeat. It's going to be a repeat of 2020.
Okay, interesting. What about the people who, since, both of our chats will have the paranoid crowd and the very, very paranoid crowd, there's a bunch of people who will say Trump is controlled opposition, and Trump, he's like the second coming of Christ, and they're going to bring him back, and then they're going to do this. What do you think about those conspiracy guys?
Well, I think that if you look at how they've treated Trump, like they're not making it easy for him. So if they were trying to anoint him or Antichrist or whatever, like they wouldn't be fighting him with all these legal challenges, these investigations, the civil lawsuits, the suspensions on social media. Like, they're really fighting tooth and nail to keep him out of power. The one that they're really lining up behind is Ron DeSantis.
Yeah, that's like a Fed. That's a DNC Fed.
Yeah, well, 100%. And all you have to do is follow the money. All of the Wall Street donors, like the worst ones, like Ken Griffin from Citadel, they flipped from Trump to DeSantis. Even DeSantis made a trip to Israel last month, and he was sitting between like 3 of the biggest you-know-what donors in America who previously supported Trump. Now, apparently, they're talking about throwing their support behind him.
Yes, but Nick, we don't talk about kingmakers here.
Right.
So could you even see DeSantis actually winning?
No chance.
Yeah, he's kind of like the least charismatic gay guy they have.
Yeah, no, he is. He's got no personality. He's a terrible candidate. He's weak. He's short. Like, he's got nothing going for him. The only thing he has going for him is he does know his stuff. Like, he knows policy very well. But, that and $1 will buy you a cup of coffee when you're talking about a campaign. Like, he just doesn't have it. Right.
And people saying Michelle Obama is up next. And I'm like, we've already had a black man as president. Yeah. Could you see her? Could you see her in office, though?
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, she's certainly like the number one dark horse on the Democrat side. Although it's getting pretty late. I mean, I don't think that it seems unlikely that they'll throw her in the race, especially with Biden announced already.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I could see it. I mean, who else do they have? That's the only reason I say that is because they literally don't have anybody else. The only other viable candidates they have, Joe Biden, he's got one more election in him. Kamala's too unpopular. Pete Buttigieg is too gay. Elizabeth Warren is too unlikable. The only person they have is maybe Gavin Newsom.
Oh, God.
I would have said Cuomo, but Cuomo, they ate him alive with the sex assault.
And the nipple charges. Piercing.
Yeah, so you got Gavin Newsom, end of list. Michelle Obama, I mean, she'd be the only one I think that could pull it off.
Right. And, I mean, My favorite's always been Tucker Carlson for our side, but like I'd always hold his feet to the fire and roast him because of his takes on 9/11. But recently, he's like, ever since he left Murdoch and Fox, or they fired him or whatever, he said, you're not allowed to talk about 9/11 on mainstream media. And I thought, wow, Tucker is a based man, but he's going hyper based. Like, this is the most I've ever liked him. You're a big Tucker guy, right?
No, I'm not a huge fan.
Yeah, okay, well, good. I have some dirt. Recently, he gave a speech where he said at a young age, he applied for a job at the CIA, but didn't get it. That was the most sketch story I've ever heard in my life. This is like Operation Mockingbird type shit, right? And it's just like, who am I thinking of? The CNN Vander guy. Do you believe Tucker Carlson is CIA?
I'm not sure who you're talking about specifically, but, well, it goes deeper even than that. I mean, do you know about his father, Dick Carlson?
Oh, yeah.
Because his father was literally working at the highest levels in intelligence for like 30 years. His father ran Voice of America in Europe for like a decade. His father's a foreign registered agent for the government of Hungary currently. Like, he literally, his job was to create propaganda for the CIA in a media company under Reagan. And then he ran American public broadcasting. Like, he ran the parent company for PBS and NPR for a decade. And it's like, okay, so
I've noticed a common trend with, like, feds, and this is just comedy. I mean, we're just talking comedy right now. I've noticed a common trend where they always, like, say, yeah, I applied for the CIA, or I worked for a year, but then they didn't like me, or they fired me. Have you noticed everyone has, like, that same story?
Yeah. Yeah, they do. It's always the same story. And
what about, like, Andrew Tate? Wasn't his father CIA? What do you think of Andrew Tate?
Yes. Yeah, and so was Alex Jones. Alex Jones' dad is a Fed as well. I like Andrew Tate. I mean, the intel thing is suspicious, but by the same token, like, I like his message. Tucker, I don't like his message. So Tate, Tate is very funny to me. Like, the big thing with Tucker is I just don't like his content. I think he's not funny. I think he's not fucking clever, cute. I don't like his political stuff. Like, he doesn't agree with us. He's shitting on white identity. He will not talk about you-know-what. Andrew Tate, however, is a little bit more radical than Tucker, more traditional. He's funnier.
Are you kidding me? Andrew Tate is more radical than Tucker.
Oh, absolutely.
Are you kidding? Why? Because he shits on women? Tucker actually talks about race.
Tucker does. Tucker went on his show, or he was on an interview, and he said something like, in the future, when America's minority white, someone is going to step up and say, I represent the white vote. And I'm going to say, fuck you, you're a Nazi. So, like, he does, but he also, at the same time, it's almost like his job is to acknowledge race, but not permit the conversation to actually go somewhere. Because he'll go on his show and say stuff like, oh, immigration is terrible. But he'll then go and say, but that's only because they're voting for Democrats. What we really need is a race-blind meritocracy.
The only thing that bothered me about Tucker is he'd make race like a socioeconomic thing, and I'd be like, whoa, why are you taking the debate that way? Like, aren't you supposed to be the leader of the right? It's kind of, it was awkward throughout the years. I'm like, here we go again and again. And, but would you say Tate is CIA? Andrew Tate?
I don't know enough about him and his background. I mean, it's certainly suspicious, it tracks, but by the same token, I think he's just like much more as like a radicalizing agent. I think he's way better than Tucker, so I don't mind him. I also don't like Tucker because Tucker like went after me. He came for my neck, and that's
he mentioned your name recently?
No, he was trying to do shit behind the scenes. He was working with Max Blumenthal's wife to write a major hit piece about me. Max Blumenthal is the son of Sidney Blumenthal. Sidney Blumenthal was a fixer for fucking Bill and Hillary Clinton. Oh. Sidney Blumenthal is like a notorious, well-known Democrat operative, and he's you-know-what. And his kid, Max Blumenthal, is the same way.
Nigga, are you trying to get me killed? You're saying Clintons? You're trying to get me killed?
No, I'm the only one who's getting killed. I'm just telling you what happened.
Okay, Hillary's listening to this call, so Hillary, get him first.
Yeah, he's absolutely, yeah. He's got nothing to do with it. It's just me. But anyway, so Tucker, so Cindy Blumenthal's son, Max Blumenthal, runs this website called The Gray Zone, and his wife was running a hit piece about me. She wrote this like 3-part, 10,000-word hit piece about me, and she dispatched Tucker Carlson to go sniffing around my circle. Tucker Carlson was calling people that I know and recording phone calls and saying stuff like, "We're so worried about Kanye. Is he okay? What did Nick Fuentes do to him? What did Nick Fuentes tell him? Is Nick Fuentes a Fed? Is Nick Fuentes this? What's going on with him?" And like, so when they called me, the girl's name is Anya, that's Blumenthal's wife. She calls me up, and I'm like, "Hey, bitch, like, why are you getting Tucker Carlson to do your dirty work?" And she's like, "What? How did you hear about that?" And I'm like, "I got friends everywhere, bitch. Like, I hear about everything."
How did you get the wife's phone number?
She called me. She called me.
She had your phone number. So she's attracted to you.
Yeah, she is attracted to me. She was flirting with me.
Did she send any emojis and stuff?
Literally, yeah. She fucking did. She was trying to be cute.
Did you tell her you're waiting for marriage and you're not into this shit?
Well, no, I was kind of flirtatious back, to be honest with you, but not in like a cringe way, but just in like a I'm infamous sort of way.
Okay, no, but it wasn't like it wasn't like, were you being too forward? Were you talking crazy, like grab them by the, were you saying any crazy stuff?
Oh, no, nothing like that. No, not at all.
Oh, okay, so it was just cute.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I was trying to get her to, because she was going to run some serious, like, libel type stuff, and so the only reason because normally I never talk to journalists, but I heard this hit piece was coming. Like I said, somebody told me Tucker was sniffing around, so I anticipated this was happening. And she calls me up, and she's like, basically saying stuff that wasn't true. She's like, "You were inside the Capitol. You were yelling at people to go inside." I'm like, "No, bitch. I wasn't even near the Capitol. I was like 100 meters away, and I wasn't telling people to go in the building." And she's like, "Oh, okay, well, then I can't print that." I'm like, "Yeah, thanks." So, I was trying to finesse that a little bit. But once I figured out what she was up to, I was like, you know what? And then I called her some really mean things on my show.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's probably the best part of your show is when you get angry. And I mean, and it is unfair because when you look at the right wing, you're right about they make fart jokes and kind of like some toilet humor. And then there's your channel that is so if they're in the same, like, imagine you in the same room as Steven Crowder. That would look like bullying. Like, these people the right wing is soft. They shouldn't actually debate you.
Yeah.
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 Now,
I agree. I mean,
I'm wondering before I forget, because I haven't slept yet. It's a long stream, and they said, call Nick.
Oh.
I'm wondering, right? Is Kanye West one? Because Destiny keeps doing this thing where he's like, Kanye's gonna drop it. Kanye's gonna drop it. Is he 100% in?
Oh, like I said, I can't really comment on that at this point.
But you've seen what Destiny has said.
Yeah, but I mean, we're talking about a major power player. We don't really operate on Stephen Bonnell's timetable,
He told everyone that you got dropped by a Ye.
Yeah, I know he would love that. He's just salty because a year ago he was telling everybody, like, "Oh, I'm."
Hello? The fuck? Hello?
Well,
hold on, Nick. You cut out. Say that again. You cut out.
I said that, a year ago, he was going around telling everybody, like, "Oh, I'm the only reason, I'm like the most famous person Nick knows, and I'm the only reason that he's in the mainstream." And then I'm hanging out with Donald Trump and Kanye West at Mar-a-Lago. And
money. Nick, did you drop the call or?
Yeah, the call dropped.
Okay, because I haven't slept in a while, so that was spooky. Like I'm wondering, Nick, what do you think of Sneeko? You guys haven't done shit in a while. Like you guys used to do a lot of content together.
Yeah, well, I mean, I talked to him the other week. We're supposed to do a stream with Leafy at some point this week.
Leafy's not political?
Well, I don't know that much about Leafy.
Saying the N-word makes you political. I don't think Leafy's like a kid he's not political at all.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going on a stream, so I don't know what to tell
you're doing another viewer robbery. You just get on everyone's stream and take all the viewers.
That's right. Yeah. I'm here for the viewers.
Yeah, no, when I saw you do that to Charlie Kirk, I'm like, wow, if they do want to debate in the, what do they call it? The battle of ideas? What does Ben Shapiro call it? The free market of good ideas?
That's right, yeah, the marketplace of ideas.
Yeah, but you got banned from that place.
Yeah, they won't let me in.
Yeah. Do you think you would have done like a very quick robbery? Like if you got to go around the circle, talk to Ben Shapiro and Lawrence Southern and all those guys, do you think in 1 year you would have like been a lot bigger than them? And it's not egotistical to say, right? So you could tell us what you think.
Yeah. If it was a fair playing field, I'd be the most popular, no doubt. But I mean, when you look at it, I mean, I hate to be that guy because I just think it sounds weak to be like, if it were different, I would be on top. It's not fair. But you do have to factor in that Ben Shapiro, doesn't get strikes on YouTube. He's, one of the number one publishers on Facebook. I'm banned from everything. Like, the ADL goes out of their way to get me banned from stuff. If you look up my name on TikTok, it says my name is hate speech. My name violates their TOS.
They're right. It is.
Yeah, I mean it is, but
I'm not trying to be funny. I genuinely think your name does bring a lot of fear in influencers. Like there's a lot of live chats. I remember Tim Pool had a live session a year ago, and they're just spamming Nick, and you could see them start breaking a sweat. And I'm like, bro, the kid's fucking 8. You were fucking 19. Like fucking debate this fucking. He's a teenager. And they start to break into a sweat, and they're like, let's go to ad break. And it's like every show I see, I'm like, what the fuck? It's just a kid.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It is a hateful term. But yeah, I mean, point is, we're not even playing the same sport. If you're getting no pushback at all from big tech. In fact, you're actually partnering with big tech. There was a report came out, I don't know, a month ago. It said that Ben Shapiro is a VIP Twitter user. There's 35 VIP users that the rules don't apply to them, basically, that it's like a limitless number of their tweets will show up on your timeline. They're promoting the For You page. Ben Shapiro is one of the 35. I get reinstated and banned almost simultaneously in January. I've been banned for years. It's being totally cut off from social media and banks and payment processors. And then on the flip side, they're able to partner with them. We're just in two different universes. Yeah. So it's kind of bullshit.
Now, this is my biggest question. This question is for me. You got to meet the biggest hero in my life, and not in a gay way, not in a way where I just, how people say they relate to Donald Trump? They're all lying. They don't talk like him. They don't sound like him. They don't make the jokes like him. They're not rude like him. They're not gonna get vengeance on their enemies. They're nothing like him. They just pretend they're like Donald Trump, like most of the right. But Donald Trump's my hero because that's exactly how I even built a following, is doing that. I had that debate style, and seeing him re-energize me. You met him in person in his house, and then you guys had problems, right?
Well, I mean, he liked me. I think he was more mad at Kanye.
Right. He said something about his wife, you said.
Yeah, they kind of got into it over that.
Right, but have you talked to Trump since then?
No, just the dinner at Mar-a-Lago.
Right, and you said he came outside and watched you guys drive away?
He what?
he came outside and watched you guys drive away, right?
Yeah, he walked us to the car.
Nick,
freaky, you know?
Nick, I'm not attacking you, right? Because the political people, they always feel attacked. But that story sounds like, I can't believe that story. He got out of the house and from the lawn, he's watching you and he's angry and you guys are driving away. That's like a movie.
So it's at this club. So he lives at the club and there's an entrance where the entrance is right up next to the lobby for the dining room. So it's not like he walked across the lawn like how a normal house looks like. You'd have to look at Mar-a-Lago to kind of picture what I'm describing, but the car was basically pulled up right to the door, which is next to the dining room, and so he came out of the dining room onto the front steps and watched as we got in the car.
And was it like he's mean-mugging you, like he was giving you a psychic message of, I'm that nigga, like he was mad?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. He was like, there was like a tone shift in the dinner. Once he realized that we were kind of like had political ambitions, so to speak, the tone of the dinner shifted, and it was straight up like intimidating. Like he just has this presence. It was like a mob boss, and I swear, my right hand to God, like I thought he was gonna like start swinging at one point.
What do you mean? Hold on, no. You said you're in a car driving away, so I imagine the president's hair all in the air, running after you, swinging, but you're in a car driving away.
No.
That makes no sense.
No, because that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that we were at the dinner table. We're at the dinner table eating dinner. That's why I said there was a tone shift during the dinner where his body language changed, his tone changed, the way he was speaking. Because when we got there, he was just very like bubbly and friendly and just sort of.
But someone told him
the politician charm.
Someone dropped a letter on him and said something about you or Kanye that made the tone change.
Yeah, it was when Kanye asked him if he would be his vice president.
Oh, right. Kanye asked him that. Right. I remember the story. President. That's when the tone changed. Right. And how many people were there that heard it? This call dropped. Yo, why is Sneeko calling? Here. What's that? Yo. You guys want to add Sneeko? Yeah. We got to add this gay Muslim guy. I want to hear the end of that story, bro. I didn't hear it in details. Let's call Nick. Is Nick underground or something? Like, what is going on with this guy? Bro, does he not do Discord? I thought he plays GTA with Ben. Like, what this guy is not nerd, bro. He's like calling from a phone. Everyone else calls on Discord. It's so much easier with... Okay, let's try Sneeko. Oh, you didn't pick up my call earlier, and now that his life-changing... Oh, what the fuck is going on? You call... Let's get, okay, three-way. Is it because I'm Canadian in LA and he's like far away? Does that matter? Is it my phone dropping? And I'm just blaming Nick? Like, yo, this guy's a fucking fed. What if it is my phone? Okay, let's call Sneeko. Oh, he's got Discord. Let's go. Oh, this is about to get quality. Let's call Sneeko, and Sneeko can yank in the Groiper. Nick. Who did Nick debate? That fucking old dude that started going like, I'll come fight me in real life. There's a fucking army guy who's like running for office. Oh, it's because of my Canadian phone. We gotta switch to Discord. Bro, I'm scaring the shit out of Nick. Have you noticed Nick keeps answering late? He doesn't always answer late, but he keeps thinking I'm dropping calls and being like shady, and I keep thinking it's him, but it's because I'm not using fucking Discord. I'm a Canadian in LA. Like, this is, Sneako's like, what the fuck are you doing? Switch to Discord. Bro, this is the worst way to meet someone. Like, this is the shadiest shit. Right? For all I know, Nick is with Kanye, right? Kanye's just watching him. He's like, who the fuck is the Zherka guy? Kanye's the greatest of all time. And I've been saying this for the, like, Kanye's so great that I don't like Jay. I don't like Jay-Z, bro. And I love Jay. Why? Sneako, pick up the call, bro. You fucking up my fucking stream. John, change category. We gotta go to the homosexual section for Sneako. We always have to do what Sneako wants. Have you noticed that? He says, don't have Discord, I'm on mobile. Okay, I'll call your mobile. How did Sneako not have Discord on his mobile? Fucking, there's an app. Hey, Sneako, can you give me the best verse in the... What's the best verse in the Quran? Hey, Sneako, don't pretend you don't hear me.
Allah said, with your hardship, you will use that to blossom.
Get it tattooed on your arm. Don't fuck it up when Destiny tests you, okay? I'm going to ask Nick, how do I go? This is so boomer, bro. Nick, how do I add Sneako to the call? Where's the add homosexual button? Nick! Nick!
Hey.
You know, I haven't slept in a while and I'm paranoid, but I just realized Discord would be better. But Sneako texted me, this sounds really fucking shady. He says he doesn't have Discord on his phone. I don't believe him. And he doesn't even have your number right now. Are you guys even friends?
He doesn't have what right now?
He doesn't have your number. He wants me to add him to this call.
He has my number.
Okay, how do we add him to this call?
If you call him, you can then merge the call. You got to, without hanging up on me, you got to call him and then merge it.
I can't find the add Muslim homosexual button. Where is this?
Oh, come on.
Nick, hold on. Before I call him, no, he's cool. Before I call, I met him in person and stuff. Before I add him, I've noticed something that like you lean on comedy a lot. Like, let's be honest, like it's a big part of your brand. But is it bad that I roast everyone for the sake of comedy, or is it? Sometimes I find it divisive. Like I shouldn't go hard at Andrew Tate or our side, you know. But I find myself like those are the funniest jokes.
That it's very disarming, which is helpful because a lot of people, when they talk about right-wing politics, they lean into, in terms of emotion, they lean into anger and negativity and that sort of thing. And I just think that doesn't really play well. I think it's very, for whatever reason, it's a big turn-off for people. So
my problem is always with the fan base. Like, I like the Tate brothers, but the fan bases were so cringy, and they kept coming at me, and they're like, look, you were the original Andrew Tate. He's lapping you. And I'm like, okay, I have to hit back, right? They shot first. And all I said was the leader of the right went on a podcast and bragged about spending 8 hours a day pretending to be an e-girl, talking to dudes who are ejaculating to a video. Like, he was texting and I was like, what the fuck happened to our movement? Is this a psyop? Like, does Andrew Tate have a wig on when he's doing this? And he's bragging, and every Zoomer's like, this guy's the most base dude on earth. I'm like having an anxiety attack, gripping at the Bible. I'm like, what the fuck?
yeah, well, I certainly don't approve of any of that stuff.
Yeah.
But, you know, by the same token, he's an entertainer, so I don't, you know, I mean, if people are trying to say he should be the president, I don't support that, but, you know, but I think he makes good content, and in some ways, you got to take what you can get. I mean, what's the alternative? I feel like he created this whole new sort of genre, this new generation. Before that, you just had all these really cringy feminist types. I mean, even the best manosphere content or pickup artist stuff was totally like simp shit. So I feel like it's an improvement.
Yeah. I mean, like, I made a bunch of money picking up girls because, like, when I first got on the internet, I'm like, women are so stupid, watch this. and like I took over, made my money, but it was always the same message of getting girls is not a flex, bro. Like if you don't know how to pick up a woman, that's like you don't know how to fucking scam a retard. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, just the whole premise of defining a man's value in terms of women, you know, that's the conceit, which is a problem.
Yeah,
you know,
I was trying to say it, and you worded it better than me, and I was like, yeah, man, fuck this fucking. You're Italian, right? I was like, oh no, you're Mexican, Nick. According to Destiny, you're 100% like you've got a sombrero hat on right now.
A sombrero?
Yes, you're apparently, according to Destiny, if you have 25% Mexican in you, you literally have to be deported because you're like 100% Mexican, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I always tell people, like, if liberals didn't know that I was Mexican and I walked into a conversation and I said, hey, I can talk about these issues because I'm Mexican, actually, they would laugh at me. They would be like, what? Yeah. What are you, 1%?
I think that's
white?
I think that's a dumb way to explain it, or not a dumb way. It's just a faster way would be if you don't want to believe in race, go to prison and see who adopts you and see how real race gets in prison. Or you can even see in high schools the way kids are divided into groups. Like people naturally go to their own flock. Nick wouldn't go with the fucking Mexicans in prison as a green-eyed white kid, right? I forgot who made this argument, like 2016, but in prison, your tribe adopts you or you die. Like race becomes very real at the extremes.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I don't think that elucidates my situation, though, because I went over there on Pearl's show, and this black lady was telling me, like, you're mixed race, you're not white. I'm like, you're black. I'm like, first of all, you're black. Second of all, it's like if I didn't tell you I was Mexican, you would have no idea. You know? But that's really besides the point.
But, Nick, you love black people.
I do love black people.
And you love all people.
Facts.
Right. Okay. Israelis? Everyone, right? Okay, yeah, so Nick, Nick, like, don't let me derail. Let's add Sneeko to the call before he becomes a Buddhist, right? He's right now, he went from Catholic, Christian, right? We have limited time to add him to this call. Let me see. Should I call Sneeko and then he adds you?
Yeah, if you call, no, leave me on the line and then call him and then you can merge the calls.
Okay. All right. So should I go to contacts?
What's that?
I'm going to go to contacts and I'm going to add Sneeko. Wait, how do I do this? Nick, how do I add someone to an iMessage call? I'm used to Discord.
You go to add call.
Oh, right. Duh.
There you go. And then go to Sneeko.
You're a smart kid. All right, let me. Okay, I got 3 numbers for him, so let's try this one. Sneeko. When I first met Sneeko, he said, Zherka, you're smarter than you look. I said, Sneeko, you're dumber than you look. And we just hit it off, and now he's like totally a Muslim. Like, what happened, bro? Hello, is this Mohammed Atta? We need 2 planes for 3 buildings. 2 planes for 3 buildings. Mohammed.
What?
Sneeko, you're on a call with me, Nick, and Mohammed Atta.
Hold on, let me get, when I get back, I'm at a restaurant right now. I'll join the call when I get back.
Oh, you're doing that thing where you're, like, doing stuff. Now you're busy. Like, you're too cool for us?
I'm telling you, I'll pick up the phone in 10 minutes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll just wait for you, okay? We'll just wait.
Okay.
Yeah, Nick and I will be on the lawn mean mugging you.
Yeah, whatever.
Total homosexual.